So I hope you all enjoyed listening to me read my Illinois Tech supplement essays. And now I will, as I mentioned earlier, move on to my Carnegie Mellon supplement essays. And this is one of the most prestigious schools that I got accepted into, along with the University of Washington in St. Louis. And when I figured out that I got in, I was extremely stoked, more stoked than any other school I got into, other than, of course, WashU. To this point, I'm so surprised that I got in. And if I'm being completely honest, I didn't think there was a high chance of me making it in at all. But it's such a good school, and they have so many really good programs and a good D3 cross-country and track team. And I just knew that I couldn't pass them up, so I decided to apply. And now I'm going to read to you 3 essays, that's right, 3, that I wrote to get into the school. Okay, Carnegie Mellon supplemental essay number 1. The prompt: most students choose their intended major or area of study based on a passion or inspiration that's developed over time. What passion or inspiration led you to choose this area of study? My response: ever since I was a child, I've had a fascination for science and math unprecedented by almost all of my other interests. The main reasons for this include its rigor and workload, its seeming complexity that boils down to elegant solutions, and its black and white approach that still requires out-of-the-box thinking. Even in my youth, I never ceased to further investigate topics and acquire more information. I always wanted to know why something worked rather than accepting it at face value. My interest only increased as the years progressed and as I've learned to apply math and science to the real world. Recently, I've had difficulty ascertaining a specific major and area of study for college. However, I ultimately decided that chemical engineering was the right path for me. I believe an engineer's ability to apply complex scientific principles to real-world situations combined with my knowledge and passion for chemistry would be my ideal academic pursuit. My additional motivation for studying this subject is a simple fact I gleaned over the years. The more I know, the more I realize how much I don't know. With this in mind, I'm always inclined to investigate what I don't fully comprehend. I don't want to leave a question unanswered or a stone unturned. I don't want to learn just for the sake of passing a class or getting into college. Rather, I want to attain knowledge so I may apply it in ways that will benefit myself and others. This process of self-improvement drives me and many others to pursue knowledge and share it to the world. I accept that, in the end, we are all marginal specks within the vast scope of the universe. However, I'm determined to contribute what I can to our planet that I am proud to call home. Wow, that is very interesting looking back at it. As you can probably tell, the last paragraph of the essay I just read was very similar to the last paragraph of the last essay that I read for Illinois Tech. And that's something I want to mention real quick, is that you can copy, actually you probably should copy and paste lots of stuff for different essays, because lots of essays that you will write to apply to colleges have very similar prompts. And so to save time, it's good to write something general that you know that a lot of schools are going to ask you to, and then copy and paste it to all the colleges you're going to apply to, and then just change it up a bit. Maybe just take out the words of the college and substitute it for the college that it's actually for.
And just between you and me, don't tell the admissions officers at these schools that I told you that, because I don't want to get in trouble. I'm just here to tell you the truth.
Okay, now for the second supplemental essay. Many students pursue college for a specific degree, career opportunity, or personal goal. Whichever it may be, learning will be a critical achievement to your ultimate goal. As you think ahead to the process of learning during your college years, how will you define a successful college experience? My main goal in college is to attain a specific degree so that I may pursue a stable career I'm happy with. However, the manner in which I achieve this is imperative since I will spend a considerable portion of my early adulthood in college. This is why I want to attend an institution that will teach me what to learn, how to learn, and why I should learn. When I leave college and enter the real world, I don't want to stop learning about how the world works or how I can improve upon myself. I believe that to give up the pursuit of knowledge is to give up hope for true happiness. I don't want to die knowing I could have done more through my time on earth, but chose not to, especially considering the people in less fortunate circumstances who would have taken full advantage of the opportunities I was presented. I have a sense of duty to improve myself in some ways each day, so in the future, I may apply the lessons I've learned and experiences I've gained to make a positive impact on this world. I fervently believe that true education should prepare students for the outside world by emphasizing this mindset. Therefore, a successful college experience, to me, is one that facilitates this kind of growth by providing bountiful opportunities for me to pursue my goals and even open my eyes to activities I have never thought of attempting. This sort of environment is one that must be achieved through the collaborative effort of peers and faculty alike. I believe Carnegie Mellon, with its vast undergraduate and graduate majors, research programs, student organizations, and diverse campus culture, accomplishes this well. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this essay also. That's honestly probably one of the main reasons why I got into this school, because I think the essays that I wrote overall for this are probably some of the better ones that I wrote for all my college applications in general. So one thing I would like to mention about this is that I didn't talk about attaining a degree or going to college from a purely practical or financial standpoint, which, let's be honest, is the main reason we're all going to college. And instead, I talked about my love for learning and how I want to help others and apply my knowledge to the real world and yada yada yada. You've already heard me say this about a million times already. A lot of times that's what they want to hear. They want to hear someone that is willing to learn, and they want people at the school that is willing to learn, rather than someone that is going to go to school and simply regurgitate material on a test. So anyway, now for the third and last supplement for Carnegie Mellon. Consider your application as a whole. What do you personally want to emphasize about your application for the admissions committee's consideration? Highlight something that's important to you or something you haven't had a chance to say. Tell us, don't show us. And then in parentheses, no websites please. I would like to believe I have a persistent ability to overcome obstacles. The most grueling barrier I've had to conquer in my life was being on the brink of anorexia in middle school. In 6th grade, I was surrounded by athletes and jocks of all kinds. I took matters into my own hands, only to make no progress and arguably make the situation worse. I transitioned from a slightly overweight 5', 130-pound kid to a 5'4", 100-pound adolescent. I did this by exercising over 20 hours per week and drastically decreasing my caloric intake without eating healthier foods. I thought it was finally, after so many years of inactivity and senseless eating, doing my body some good. Clearly, this was not the case. Sure, I could run faster and do more push-ups, but I was setting myself up for long-term health issues. Fortunately, my parents decided that enough was enough and I should see a nutritionist. The person we contacted sympathized with my issue and did an outstanding job at teaching me the importance of eating enough healthy calories to sustain myself. Over time, I nursed myself back to health and achieved a physique I was much happier with. This experience taught me that to achieve a goal or improve upon myself in any way, I cannot simply torture myself in hopes of better results. The phrase, no pain, no gain, only takes me so far. However, working smarter always overpowers working harder. I now know that in anything I pursue, I must assess the situation and carefully formulate a plan of attack. I applied to this philosophy. That was a typo. I should have said I applied this philosophy to numerous aspects of my life, such as sports, academics, community service, and other responsibilities. Life is never easy, but I'm determined to get up no matter how hard life knocks me down. So real quick about the typo that I just mentioned. If you have 1 or 2 typos in an entire essay and the rest of the essay is good, generally speaking, admissions officers are going to completely ignore the typos, but that doesn't mean you should be complacent about your writing, because a haphazardly written paper can really turn off admissions officers and cause you to not get into school, because they may just lazily read the essay or breeze through the essay or not even be able to understand what the essay is saying because of the prevalence of typos. So just make sure you always grammar check. Okay, but on a more serious note, this is a very personal essay to me. There's an essay that I've written about this story about when I was almost anorexic for several schools, and it's a really deep part of my life, but it's also something that really shaped who I am today. As I described towards the end of my essay, I learned to outline a plan of attack and work smarter instead of harder for everything I do. And this really applies to pretty much everything in my life, more specifically towards running and academics. For running, as you probably know, it's generally better to work smarter instead of harder and make sure that you train right and prevent overtraining, and make sure that if you ever come across an injury or a little niggle of any sort, that you address the situation immediately rather than pushing through it. And it also applies to academics, because as your parents and teachers have probably told you, you shouldn't be staying up all night studying for a test that you should have already studied for, because then you'll be tired and won't be able to take the test the next day or do as well on it.
Which, let's be honest, we've all BS before.
But yeah, I truly believe that a valuable lesson can be learned from this, and I hope that you guys can apply this lesson to your everyday lives as well. In terms of how I wrote this essay, I'm pretty happy with how I wrote it. I think I did a pretty decent job at concisely saying everything, and yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about it.